Good evening, good morning. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Raid Across New York, werewolf menu, because who would rage unless you're a werewolf? Well, today's scene, we see Kotori, the lupus feared from the Worm Raiders, being Kotori. So he is near the pound, near the sept. He is contemplating the water, thinking about, well, mostly what has happened during the previous week, what he had to face in this haunted mansion full of worm taint and worm creatures, and this burden that he feels he has to share with his brother and sisters from the pure tribe, and the fact that the worm, the bane that is looming over New York is not a good news. It's pretty bad. And maybe he feels a little bit depressed about this.
And Bettina will be back. She's returned from the forge just to kind of see what the whole place looks like, where she's gonna be working for her second job, it turns out. And kind of lost in thought, still a little bit homesick. She stops when she sees yet another wolf, though. Uh, she's starting to wonder, actually, are wolves common in New York City? Because she just saw a wolf the other day, and that turned out to be somebody from the nation. But, and she just kind of stops where she is and checks him out, hand in her big parka.
But he looks kind of puzzled at this person who just hangs around and just looks at her like, and he's going to approach. He's going to approach and starts to circle around her.
Okay, and she stops at this and rolls up the sleeves to her parkas and puts her hands out, kind of watching him, still trying to figure out, this is a big city. There's probably, I don't know, are there werewolves here? God, she should have done more research on America. Fuck it.
And after a little minute, Kotori just stops and he looks at her right in the eyes, and he just waves his paws.
Okay, and at that, Bettina drops down to her knees and makes her shoulders get kind of small, and she touches her chin to the ground. And she smiles to him, but it's a closed-lip smile.
I haven't seen you around. You must be new. I like new people.
Wait, is he saying that with wolf speech?
No, he's changing his vocal cords to actually speak human, even if it's kind of harsh. Harsh sound because.
Oh, okay. She kind of looks out of the corner of her eye and makes sure that nobody's there, because this is a weird spectacle at this point. But she gets back on her butt a little bit, and she goes, "Pleased to meet you. I got a hot dog. Would you like some?"
Huh? Food is food.
And she takes the hot dog that she got from a street vendor earlier and breaks half of it off and gives it to him. And the whole time that she does and stuff, she's keeping herself low and that kind of thing, and kind of craning her neck to the side. So pleased to meet you. My name's Bettina.
I'm Kotori. Uh, I'm a feared from the Ukina tribe. Where are you from?
Are you really? Why don't we go into the woods a little bit? It'll be
Sure.
easy to walk there. Okay. She looks really happy as she gets back up on her feet. I'm a Fenrir, although I'm not like you. I'm somebody's mate.
Ah, you're from the Keen.
Yes. Yes, is that how you say it?
Yeah. You're you are from the homids. Well, how? Hmm, what was the name? Some of them said Sheptel. That's kind of denigrating, but you're yeah, you're a Keen.
Yes. Although, well, never mind. And she looks a little bit lost in thought for a second there, but as you walk deeper in there, she thinks about it. So, what are the Tina? I haven't heard of that tribe.
Ah, and you see Kotori like he's, he's just on his legs and he just put his paws on on Bettina's shoulder. Well, you want story time? Well, I'm no guardian, but sure.
And she she puts her hand on his back, but so he can see where the hand goes, kind of thing, and strokes his side. Okay, yes. And then she gently lowers him to the ground. Yes, I would love to know.
Hmm, I always forgot those fingers. Wow, amazing. It's good to scratch. Um, and yeah. Um, so you want to know about Uktena? Mm, mm, where to start? I guess, um, well, I'm not going to go back too far away, but my my tribe and the two others, middle brother and little brother, we found the Turtle Island, which uh, and he likes he wishes he was here, this land. That's how we call this land, Turtle Island. We we came here and we made it our home. There was us, the Utena, there was middle brother, who is now gone, and little brother, who went further north. Um, little brother is the Wendigo tribe.
Okay. Look at confusion in her face, but okay, more words.
Um, and well, we stayed there and we merged with the natives just like everyone else did during their time. And even if we had problems like any others, any other tribes, wars still exist even amongst the pure tribe, even if some tends to forget that, even if we were brothers, we will still fight each other, just like brother do. But I guess things changed when middle brother was gone. And he seems, and she can see that his ears are lowered, and his demeanors change a bit when he talks about middle brother. But but then I guess, well, don't take offense about what I'm going to say, but then your kind arrived, and the war started.
What about my kind?
The European werewolves, or as as some of us still name them, especially in the Wendigo tribe, the Wormcomer. Even if I think that's a little bit, well, mistaken, because the worm was already here, just like he was everywhere. I would say more. Weaver. The Weaver came with the other tribe. That's the reality. The worm was always there. Weaver, uh, grand grandfather spider, as we call him, was present, but not like this. And he looks up to the skyscrapers that can be seen in the, even near the sept. Uh, well, he still exists, but not in this form. Not in the land of metal and sky buildings. And well, after that, the Uctina and the Wendigos had to evolve. We had to change our ways. We still follow closely to what we know, which is the spirits. We we tend to the spirits of this land. We know their ways. Some may say that maybe we know too much, that we tend sometimes to go someplace that other people would frown upon. But when you need information about spirits, how they dwell, where they go, and how they interact, the Uctina tribe has an understanding that, of course, other tribe have. But what I found puzzling about other fears from other tribe, they they sometimes see spirits as tools or ways to be used. When when Uctina sees them more as kin, they are they are brothers from the other side, and sure, some of them are well less pleasant, but nevertheless, it's better to understand them and try to, well, if you want to chase a spirit, it's better to understand why he's angry with you than just smite him to get him gone.
I 5 days ago now. I don't know all the words yet, but I went a wandering, and it's not like how I I I just came here. I'm not used to the city, but when I went a wandering, I saw the whole area, the city, yes, but I saw it covered in these webs, and I saw Banes as I had never seen them, and I saw a massive storm. That storm, is it a weaver storm, a wild storm? Is it a worm storm?
you see at the mention of the storm that basically if Kotori had lower his ears at the mention of the storm, at the mention of middle brother, then yes, now he's really depressed. Now he's looking at the ground. He's not even looking at her in the eyes. Uh, it's a it's a pain. You you are not yet familiar with stories about our people, but um, I'm going to tell you a story. Maybe maybe this will help you um, to see how well. I'm going to tell the story anyway. It will get something off my chest. Uh, Long ago, as I told you, there were uh, there were three brothers, and at some point, a giant plane appeared. He was a monstrosity. He loomed over us and tried to annihilate us, but we pounded it into the earth. We pounded it so that he would never escape. He would be always in prison. And to do so, middle brother had to sacrifice himself. Middle brother died in order to seal the pain, in order to preserve what was still the Pure Land.
Little brother must have been very strong.
He was middle brother was, I would say, from what my ancestors told me and from the stories I heard, middle brother was, well, he was the perfect balance. Little brother is always thirsty, he is always angry, always prone to take action, to scream for revenge. Little brother likes to, well, little brother resemble the Fenris in this way. They are proud warriors. They want to fight, and sometimes they forget themselves and let their anger speak for them. We of the Uktena tribe sometimes dwells too much in knowledge, and sometimes we forget about others. We tend to the spirits and we forget about our kin who lives in the material world because we tend to think that this world is not of interest. Middle brother, well, was fierce but wise at the same time, but well, when middle brother was set on something, on an idea, he would never change his mind. And he decided that the best way was to sacrifice himself so that we could all survive. And so this spirit of the worm was sealed. But then the other tribes arrived and they didn't know what they were doing. They went they went into the Pure Land claiming territories, claiming cairn, septs to themselves. They had knowledge of their own, but they didn't know our ways. They didn't know how we interact with the land. And they set the spirit free. the spirit was set free, but he wasn't free like he was before. He learned. He absorbed Weaver spirits. He was not really a Bane anymore. He was something else. He was then known as Eater, the Storm Eater. He is the storm that looms over us right now. He is the eye in the sky. The only the only positive aspect that I see right now is that it's just a fraction of his power. He is not fully he is not fully empowered right now, so I guess it will be easier to defeat him, but this we didn't need this right now.
Why is the storm here?
Another story for me. I should really I should have been born Galliard.
um, I don't mean to put you on the spot.
No, no, it's actually it's actually nice to talk with someone who wish to learn. I I find I find it refreshing to have someone who doesn't have a set point of view about aspect. You are like clay right now. You have knowledge of your own that you can absorb, knowledge you can fascinate yourself into a new person with this knowledge and decide for yourself what you think is best, what you think you should do with this knowledge. The didn't didn't anyone told you anything? I mean, your your get of Fenris. I mean, they are contemplate the mercy and Blitzkrieg. Shouldn't they shouldn't they told you about all this?
What do you know of outside this forest? Have you ever been outside this forest?
Oh yes, yes. I've been to well, Vier took me one of my packmates took me into his Weaver tech engine into the city, and he showed me well what the city had to offer.
It's a car. You must say car. And she smiles and lowers her head to show, no offense.
Mm, yeah, yeah. I should say car.
I
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
what I have found is, and again, she doesn't meet your eye, and she lowers her head when she says, "I have found that your kind like to use a lot of explanations, even when they first learn of something. But the more you use the right word, the more people, homids, are willing to hear what you have to say. It's not fair, but that's how it is.
hmm,
So it's a car."
yes, yeah, yeah. I guess that. uh, I guess it makes sense because mostly I say with her face, with her that stinky place. Yeah, I guess
So
it should be more. I should be more specific about what about the Hobbit words, even if sometimes it's kind of hard. I mean, um, like clothes. That's that's a weird concept. I mean, I get that but you don't have fur, so you need to protect yourself from the cold. But I don't get why, for instance, fur clothes should be more appealing than another. It's it's just fur to cover yourself.
it's complicated, but it has to do with breeding.
Mm, mm. And he scratched his muzzle a little bit, like trying to think of something. But what is then if it has to deal with mating? Um, mm, what's the point of this cafe? Uh, cafe. I heard about a place where there are um, women serving other men with alluring clothing,
With a what?
uh, appealing clothing that are,
That is complicated, but I could explain it to you.
and he goes like, explain. Yes, I'm very curious. Explain.
Okay. We wear clothes when it's hot outside because if we didn't, then we would think about breeding all the time. Because humans do not go into heat.
Hmm.
Women sort of go into heat, but it's more complicated and it's harder for the males to tell when it's happening. So they're on the safe side and they assume that it's constantly happening. And once I found that wolves realize that about humans, it's a lot easier to understand what humans are thinking all the time. Think about that. There's no time where it's okay to assume that you will never be able to have sex because a wolf can go months and months assuming that breeding will not happen, whereas a human needs to be prepared for it to happen at any point. Okay. However, we can't just breed in the open because it's distracting, and then all the humans will think about breeding, and then we won't get anything done. So we wear the clothes, um, but because people like to think about breeding, some of the clothes are cut in such a way where we kind of think about it, but it's in the back of our heads. It's not something that we immediately want to do. So it's very sneaky that way.
Hmm.
Now, if you go into one of these places where women are serving the men like to imagine that they could breed with all these women and that all these women want to breed with them. And the clothing they have on is barely there so that they're basically thinking about breeding the whole time.
Hmm. So it's like a ritual, technically.
Very much so.
Hmm. Hmm.
Another thing,
Hmm?
the Gita Fenris have kind of a saying among the human kinfolk that there's a difference between breeding and sex. Only breeding matters, of course, but sex is when you breed and you don't want to have children.
That's weird.
It is weird. But these people, they want to do other things than constantly having children.
Hmm.
Because, again, think about it. Wolves and your kind and stuff, they could go long periods where it would be impossible for them to get pregnant.
Hmm.
And so they could, if they don't run into the right people or if things aren't matched up, they could go a year or 2 years without having children. They could do a lot of stuff and get a lot of things done for Gaia and so forth. Whereas humans, because they could breed every month, it would get very distracting. So instead, they find ways to kind of put that thought aside, and that's why sex was invented.
Hmm.
You can enjoy the breeding sensation as much as possible without having puppies, without having children.
Ah.
And because all these weaver technologies have been invented, when you want to have children and puppies, you can have that happen.
Hmm.
So that's a lot more complicated for humans. But when you think about how they're always thinking about breeding and always thinking about having sex, it's a lot easier to understand why they do the stuff they do.
Ah, all the humans are like Travis because he thinks about breeding all the time.
Does he now?
Werewolves. I don't think he would go that hard, but yeah, he's thinking about breeding all the time. He's like a young pup who has first seen female in heat.
It's like that. It's like
He's
that.
funny that way.
But what was I going to say? I was going to explain something else, but I forget.
It's okay. It's okay. Laughing a little bit tends to makes you forget about your problems.
True.
But you wanted to know what happened, how the Storm Eater, well, actually, a part of the Storm Eater was released. Um, Basically, a few months ago, um, there was an attack on the Sept by our brothers from the Red Talons. They
Yes, I
were
did hear about that.
they were very angry. They were very angry, and people on the Sept didn't understand why they wanted to attack us, because they made a lot of damage. They killed Kinfolks. They even killed the Alpha of the Sept, but they didn't claim the Sept. They just went rampage, and they were pushed back. And we tried to understand what was happening, because the spirits were saying that we thought that they were corrupted by the worm, that they had got mad. But when we asked to Cockroach, uh, the spirit told us that their leader, uh, Bloodclaws, was not corrupted. And when we went further to investigate, uh, we found out the truth that Bloodclaws was no more for months. He was dead. And a black spiral dancer took his skin and wore it like a pelt, like clothes. And he impersonated Bloodclaws in order to attack the Sept and corrupt his Red Talons brothers, which thankfully he didn't succeed. However, he went into a power plant, yes, power plant, and he unleashed, I don't know how, but he corrupted an aspect of Griffin, which was an abomination that I don't wish to see again, and I hope that.
Kotori,
Hmm?
Kotori, do you know the name of this power plant? Power plants have names.
No, no, I don't know. I went into the Umbra to get there. However, I think that if you ask anyone like Louis, Kachina, Blitzkrieg, or Travis, or anyone of important, yeah, I guess you could ask the warden about that. He would tell you the name of the power plant, but unfortunately, I don't know. I don't know the name of the place.
I'd like to see it if you could take me there.
Hmm, well, sure. I mean, I could ask Louis, Vice one of my bike mates, to guide us there. Because you
You
want,
can't go. You can't go wandering yourself.
uh, I could, but I'm not sure about the way in. here. I'm I can go through I could go through the Umbra, but I'm not sure if you could follow me there.
I can follow.
He thinks for a little bit. Mm, what exactly do you think will be there?
What you were talking about happened at the power plant. Ha- Imagine if your den was messed up, you would be upset.
Yes.
The
However,
humans the humans would be upset.
I have to warn you that my ways are a little bit complicated. The thing is that mm, I am. You see how the moths are always going through the light in the night. They all circle around this light. Basically, in the Umbra, I'm this light. The spirits looms over me all the time. What what I fear is I'm I'm not sure that the power plant has been cleansed of all the worm taint that was there, or even if the weaver spirits and elemental spirits are going to take kindly for us to go there. They are going to focus on me, obviously, but I wouldn't want you to endanger your life in the Umbra. We could go. We could go to the power plant uh, in this world, but I wouldn't advise to go there in the Umbra.
I have noticed it's a lot harder to go wandering here than where I came from. Okay,
But
okay,
we
but
can.
okay. So what happened at the power plant then after the spirit was summoned?
Um, well, there was a fight, and we brought down we brought down the impersonator, but he escaped. There was this strange thing about him. He was um, he 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 reeked of the underworld. He reeked of the dead. I mean, obviously because he slayed uh, blood claws, but it was he he wore it like a veil, which is kind of weird. But he escaped. He I don't know where he is, but from what my alpha gathered, he is um, he is very powerful. Maybe Afro. He is very high. When we asked Bloodclaw's spirit ancestor to tell us what he knew about this black spiral dancer, um, and he said that he was very powerful. I think that he had to be to unleash such a storm, and we are still trying to track him and find him in order to kill him. However, there are other problems again looming over us.
What are the other problems?
Well, mm, after we killed, um, we destroyed the corrupted aspect of Griffin, but we banned him, and that the storm was still there because obviously we cannot fly. to get there, or we don't have the spiritual weapons to arm him right now. Mother Larissa sent us and sent me to my tribe in order to ask for guidance and ask why they didn't answer our calls, because they remained silent during all these problems. When we got there, we found out that a thunder snake was attacking the moon bridge that was linking the sept of a running stone to this sept. We defeated him, and we learned that basically all of the sept were attacked by such creatures. The moon bridge were attacked, and that basically they didn't answer because they couldn't answer, they couldn't pass through. And
They were trapped there.
yes, basically they couldn't take the moon bridge to go somewhere else. Now the moon bridge has been repaired.
They were trapped in the Umbra, is what I mean.
No, they were trapped on the other side. The Thunderbane was attacking the bridge. They couldn't go into the Umbra. They couldn't go into the Umbra unless they were facing the Thunder Snake.
Are they all lupus? Why did they not give us a phone call?
Well, not all of them. Not all of them are lupus, but I guess they are still a native tribe. Maybe they didn't think, and maybe they don't know the ways to call someone. I haven't seen a Zept emergency phone.
Kotori,
An idea. Yes.
do you know how to use a cell phone?
I know how to use my thumbs.
Your what?
My thumbs.
Okay, but
I
that's
learned,
not what I asked.
but I
It's
don't
very
know.
important. It's the first thing I taught my brother. Do you know how to use a cell phone?
No.
Kotori, do you want to learn? Like I said, it's very important with the humans. We don't speak through each other's minds, so we use this instead.
Mm. It
Let me teach you. It's easier than you think.
it would make sense. It would make sense, but you also, I will learn it to actually in case of emergency know how to use a cell phone. But
What I'm going to do is, if that's okay with you, and again, she turns her head so she doesn't see her eyes for a second, she shows her neck. If it's okay with you, I would like to teach you how to use a cell phone. Then I need to go to my shift at the restaurant in about half an hour. But after I'm done with my shift, I'm going to go and buy you a cell phone. And I would like you to keep it. I'm going to put Blitzkrieg's number in there, and I'm going to put my phone number in there. And you can add other people's phone numbers, and I'll show you how to do that too. It's very powerful.
everything's for a little bit. I I will accept your gift and your teaching about cell phones. However, there is something that I must tell you about werewolves, and especially the lupus, because I believe that you are mostly familiar with my homids brethren. We have, how should I put it? We have certain ways, ways of thinking, ways of doing things. And mostly, mostly for us lupus, it is very hard to accommodate ourselves with our technology. We still want to be true to the wild teaching, to well, to nature calls, as some would say. But I recognize that in this age, in this, and he looks again at the skyscraper, even if I wish, even if I wish to ignore, even if I wish that I would not have to do it, I have to actually make, well, mm, I wouldn't say sacrifice, because this is not really what I'm not giving my paw to get a metal paw or driving a car. But yes, my tribe, as the eldest of my tribe says, we have to adapt in order to survive. So I do not I do not guarantee that I will use extensively this phone, but when I am in a homid and or where I sleep, I will keep it and use it when if I need to contact you or blitzkrieg, unless it's too complicated.
My kind have very fucked up tendency, and you see she's getting a little upset by this. Very fucked up tendency to dismiss the wolfkin and dismiss the lupus because they have that attitude that you just said. Um, and humans take advantage of that. They are physically weaker, but they can make so many things to augment it. What I am talking to you about is how humans use telepathy. And can you imagine the power of having telepathy with anybody you wish? It's it's more than asking you to adapt to a human's den. This is giving you a tool so that you cannot be so easily dismissed. Because you shouldn't be. It's wrong.
Oh, come here. And he's going to basically, he's going to come to her and he's going to put his muzzle on her shoulder like wolf hug.
Um, thank you. My my brother, my stepbrother, he's Wolfkin. It's been hard.
I understand. The well, I didn't have to face any discrimination for being a lupus, but yes, it gets lonely.
That's the most frustrating thing that you can't see it because you're not trained to see it, how humans react. But yes, there is discrimination. They will leave you out of things. The Wolfkin and the lupus, they'll do it, and because you don't know how to read humans to the level that a human can read a human, you don't realize it's going on.
Mm.
I'm
Would
not
you
trying to get you mad, but I'm trying to tell you why I want to help.
would you teach me how to behave and blend in to actually use their ways against them to show them that the lupus kind can play games too?
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to do that. Here is the sort of cell phone I'm going to get you. It's a little box. I'm going to give you a cover on it too, so that it's strong. Here, you can sniff it, but it'll smell like me.
Hmm, smells like cigarette too.
Oh, yes, my mate, he uses cigarettes. Okay, so you press this button here. It turns it on. And she shows you that at the very bottom, you touch the little green phone button.
Hmm.
Do you remember to do that? To press the white button and then to press the green button?
Kotori will look at her and smile with his wolf grin, saying, "You know, I'm a feared. I'm far from being an idiot." and he la-
I'll take
and
it.
he laughs. I know you don't mean. I know you don't mean that. I'm messing with you.
Okay.
Messing with you.
It's tricky because
Hmm.
you are Garu, but yes.
Yeah.
Here is where people will give you their number, and you press the numbers that match.
Hmm.
1 second. And you type it in there.
At some
Um,
at some point, you see Kotori like looking at the phone and take his paws and tap on the phone. Hmm.
you have to use your fingers. I use this finger, the long one that's next to the thumb. It's about the right size.
Hmm. Oh,
And
if
and
only
after
one. Oh wait, that's right, I do.
and after you do that, um, you will always have it saved. See, look at all these little contacts I have in there. You just need to press the name of the person you're looking for, and it will call them, and you can talk to them.
Hmm.
I am I'm going to have the warden in there, and I'm going to have my number, and then you can add other people's in there. You can add other sets. You can add in other members of your pack. And I think my shift at the restaurant is going to start, so I better be going. I will go and get you a cell phone.
Okay.
Will you be here?
Um. Yeah, I don't really. Wow, that makes me think I should really get a place because I
You
just
don't have a place.
I stay in the sept mostly because it's easier for me being a lupus to
Well,
well.
the sept is where we're going to charge up the cell phone and give it energy and so forth, because it'll need that. But I'll explain that when I come back and give you the cell phone.
Okay.
Okay. Bye. I'm sorry. I'm so late, but
Well,
bye. It was wonderful meeting you.
it's okay, and he will lick her face and say, "It's okay. I like you."
And she laughs and kind of apologetically runs away as fast as she can.
Hmm. And with that, Kotori seems to think, "Hmm, I do need a place."